Welcome to Radiant Mom Rising. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, and in each episode, we dive into amazing stories, insights, and conversations that help moms like you chase your dreams and embrace your worth. Let's rise and shine together. Welcome back to another episode of Radiant Mom Rising. Today, we're diving into a conversation that I think every parent and honestly, every dreamer needs to hear. Because whether you're raising children, building a business, or simply trying to become the woman you know you're capable of being, there's one question that keeps coming up. How do we help someone believe in themselves enough to pursue what truly lights them up? Today's guest, Margot, has spent years interviewing entrepreneurs from every walk of life, and what she discovered completely challenged the way she thought about success, parenting, and even failure. This conversation isn't really about creating entrepreneurs. It's about creating resilient humans, humans who are willing to try, to fail, to learn, to trust themselves. And as I listened to Margot share these stories, I couldn't help but think how closely this aligns with everything I've been building through Identity Reset. Because the beliefs we build today shape not only our own future, but the example we leave for our children. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's jump into this beautiful conversation. Hello, and welcome back. Today I'm with Margot. Margot, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. How is your day going so far?
It's great.
Yes, well, let's get started. If you will, introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi,
Yeah.
my name is Margot Bisnow. I wrote this book, Raising an Entrepreneur, How to Help Your Children Achieve Their Dreams, 99 Stories from Families Who Did. And it's the second edition of my book. I have to say I love this book. It's so easy to read. It's, 100 2 to 4 page stories. And each story starts with a picture of them when they're young and then has a picture of them today. So you can see that everybody just started out like as a normal dorky kid, you know.
Don't we
no
all?
matter no matter how much they've achieved. And it's just so easy because you can just it's just each story is just 2 to 4 pages, so you can just it's a really easy, fun read. It's not what I was doing my whole life. I can tell you later if you want why I ended up writing it, but my career before that was more in international relations and international development and economics and stuff like that. So this was very different, but now it's my passion.
I love that. And I would love to hear more of how did you lean into that direction, after being in the other corporate world for so long?
So I have two boys. I've always worked, by the way. And my younger son, Austin, is a musician.
Oh,
And the name of his current band is Somewhere in Between. You guys should all go to Spotify immediately and download their albums. My older son, Elliot, is now doing something different, but 18 years ago, in 2008, he started an organization called Summit, or Summit Series, which is conferences of young entrepreneurs.
oh wow.
And back in 2009, 2010, 2011, I would go to all these events, and I'd never met people like this before. And I would ask all of them, how did you turn out this way? So willing to work so single-mindedly to achieve your goal and to take on so much risk. And they all told me the same thing. They all said, I had someone who believed in me. Someone who said I could do anything I put my mind to. Generally, it was a family member. More generally, it was their mom. Not always, but mostly. But people who didn't have an amazing mom, they still had somebody else.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I talked about this all the time, and I just kept talking about it and talking about it. And the kid said, you have to write a book. And I said, I can't write a book. And they, and
Love
they
that.
said, no, you have to write a book. And I said, I can't write a book. And I'd never written anything longer than like 10 pages. And they said, no, you have to write a book. And I said, so funny, anyhow, they wore me down. And they wrote the foreword. They said, everyone needs someone to believe in them. And sometimes that's even your kids.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my God. That's amazing. So that's kind of what started you on this path of like, because you brought what I love about your book is that you brought people's stories within it, and I think that's so neat. So how did that unfold?
So I was just so curious,
Yeah.
how these people had turned out. And I wanted a really diverse group. And my son, like the one advice he gave me was like, Mom, don't just go for the billionaires. Because first of all, they're all white men. And second of all, most of them are like kind of weird. And most of them, like, that's not what your kid is going to end up as. Your goal is not for your kid to become a billionaire. Your goal is for your kid to start something they love, that they can get joy out of.
Yeah.
So he said, don't just do the billionaires. So I cast my net broadly. It's half men, half women, every
Yes.
race, every religion, every socioeconomic background, parents who were doctors and lawyers, parents who never went to college, parents born overseas, parents who, had immigrated here, parents who'd been here forever, small towns, big cities, divorced moms, single moms, blended families, great families had been married forever. I mean, small, single kids, 3 kids, 5 kids, 7 kids, and then by the way, going into for-profit, nonprofit, artists, activists, like anyone who'd
Yeah.
started something. And I was kind of ambivalent about doing it. And I started interviewing them. And then I discovered that every single one of these people was raised the same. And it just knocked my socks off. And then
Yeah.
I got so excited about it that I just wanted to like scream it from the rafters.
Please, if we can, let's dive into that a little bit more. Tell us, what do you feel like was the thing that was the common denominator that you saw within all the way they were raised?
So every single one of these people, every single one had a passion outside of school when they were
Mm,
growing up.
okay.
And every single one of them, their parents supported that passion. Sometimes it took a big gulp. Sometimes it took a really big gulp, especially the Asian parents. I think they were the
Oh,
toughest.
I bet. I yes.
But it eventually, when the parents realized how much joy their kids were getting from their pursuit, they supported it and they told them how proud they were of their kids' success in that. And because these kids had found some, and by the way, like 40% of them, it was sports,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
is fine. Not only one of them became a professional, athlete.
Yeah.
Um,
But still, the skill sets that teaches them, when
right.
it comes to teamwork and discipline and just the practice. I think practice is a
Right.
huge thing, right? For any of us
Right.
and
And
anything we're trying to
and
accomplish.
grit and
Yes.
focus and determination
Nation.
and resilience and
Oh,
how to pivot and how to
yes.
fail and how to jump back from failure and on and on and on. And because they were working hard at something they had chosen, they realized they could succeed if they worked hard enough.
Yeah.
And it gave them the confidence that when they found what they wanted to do, they had the skills to get there. And my older son, the one who started Summit, he was a tennis player, and
Nice.
if I can digress, I mean, he started playing tennis at about 12, when
Oh,
all the other top tennis players in the country were already doing tournaments. And we don't play tennis. We couldn't give him any advice or anything. And he just fell in love with it. And he kept losing. And he said, I know what I did wrong. I'll beat them next time.
I
And he
love
fought his way up to 35 in the country.
that. What? That's amazing. That see,
And
I love that.
and he was honored by the tennis center where he trained, which is, by the way, where Francis Tiafoe trained. If you guys follow tennis, Francis Tiafoe, who's one of the top ranked American men tennis players today. And he was like
Wow.
this cute little 6 year old when Elliot was in high school. And his dad was the janitor there. And Francis just couldn't stop picking up a racket. And,
Ah,
but anyhow, Elliot was honored at the tennis center for what he had done off the court. And he said, everything I am today is because of tennis. He said, I didn't really care about school. I didn't work very hard. Tennis is where I learned grit and focus and hard work and determination and resilience and on and on and on. And so I just think it's so important for parents to say, not stop wasting time on your music or your tennis or your art or your cooking or your games or whatever and go inside and study your trigonometry. Like, who
Yeah.
needs trigonometry,
Oh
right?
my God, I
I
agree.
mean, it's
I
important for
love that.
parents to be able to say,
Yeah.
I love that you're working so hard at something that you love,
Mhm.
and I love how good you're getting, and I know there will be bumps in the road, and I know you'll get there eventually,
Yeah.
and we believe in you.
Yeah. And I can oh man, it's funny just hearing this. Like things makes me think about Josiah, my oldest. Like that was the one thing when I met my husband later in life that he said because like we I had let JJ try basketball. He didn't really feel it. He liked track a little bit, but we were just like we don't care what you do. You have to just pick one thing. One thing that you want to do for you. And he chose marching band. And oh my goodness. I cannot even express how grateful I am that he chose that because, okay, so he had no experience, no training. I never paid for piano lessons, drum lessons, none of that. But he fell in love with percussions and self-taught himself how to learn how to do snare drum to the point where he was like lead. He is like the best snare drum player and he's completely taught himself how to do it through working with band, through working on himself. But like you say, that determination is so beautiful to watch him be so into something that you like you say it's not like it's required but it's like he enjoyed it, he found a passion through it, and then seeing how it's helped him evolve the confidence that now he's going to college for business psychology. So he has a dream of being an entrepreneur in his own sense because I think he's him watching me also struggle in the fact of the work life and how I've always told him like please do what you love, like go out there, if you love video games, because he does love video games, and he's also taught himself about coding. So I said if you want to maybe one day own your own gaming, you could design your own games. You could do so much. So it's like there's just endless possibilities for them. And that's what I want for my kids. It's just to not be afraid to try things, see what you like, what lights you up, what you enjoy, and then to watch them just take off with that. It's quite beautiful.
100%. I do have one video game person in here, Thomas View.
Hmm.
Um, and his parents were always video games, and he went to college and he was majoring in something like physics or something. And a semester before he would have graduated, he got an opportunity to be the first intern class at Electronic Arts. Um, and he dropped out of college and ended up founding League of Legends. Um, and
Wow.
his
That's
family
awesome.
had actually emigrated from Vietnam.
Ah, I love
And the
that.
first time he went back to Vietnam, to the town where he'd been born, it was to be in a stadium with like 100,000 people cheering his game.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't imagine. I say that is what his family fought for, was to come here and have that ability to give them opportunities that they would not,
Right.
you may not have had there. So it's like that is awesome to see that. And like I value what you're sharing here because I have seen it a lot where parents tend to want to live vicariously through their kids. They want to push what they think is going to earn them money or going to make them what they think is going to be successful for them. So you bring this whole new perspective for parents who are listening who might want to just reflect that if they are or are not allowing their kids to kind of make their own decisions of what really lights them up, what they enjoy. So tell us a little bit about your experience with that as well, like of what you've seen and how you've been able through your conversations and things like that you've seen as far as what you would say to parents right now to help them in this direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you need to take a minute.
I'm so sorry. Yes, I have my
No,
I
that's
have my
okay.
little ones at home. He's I think he's okay though. You okay, buddy? Okay, honey, just be careful. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Mom
So
life.
before I answer that question, I just want to say
Yeah.
regarding what you said, do you remember the college admissions scandal when the parents paid like somebody else to do their
Oh,
kids?
yes.
Yes. So, and people at the time were saying, oh man, these rich kids, they have all these advantages and stuff. And all I could think of was, I can't think of anything worse than having parents who said, if you want to be a success in life, you have to go to this school. But if this school knew who you were, they wouldn't want you.
Oh,
So we have to
yes.
pretend you're different from what you are. so that you can
Oh,
get into this school. I can't imagine
oh my
a
God.
worse thing to say to a child. How
Yeah.
about, yeah, this school doesn't want you, but you're incredible, and we're going to find a school that does.
Yes.
And I don't think parents mean to be awful. I think parents want their kids, as you said, to be successful,
Yeah.
but they think that what worked when they were growing up is what works today. And it's a different world. You need something.
Okay, honey, I see. Honey, you need to go hang out in the room and I'll be in there in just a minute, okay? Okay. I apologize again.
No, 5-year-olds always take precedence.
Yes, yes. I know. It's like this is one of the reasons why I sometimes slow down my interview process during the summertime because sometimes they're great. They'll hang out in the room, no problem. And then other times it's like this happens or that happens, and they're like in
That's
that stage right now.
always happy
So
to have a 5-year-old join us.
oh, I know. He's so sweet. He is a talker too. Like I just took my daughter to her eye doctor appointment and I cannot tell you, he literally spoke to almost everyone in that office and was just like, "Hey, what's your name? My name's Cade. Oh, I had bad dreams. I was dreaming about bees." And it's like he's also at that point where he doesn't really talk very like, clearly, so half the time no one understands what he's saying. So it's like I'm having to be like, "Oh goodness, I'm so." It's like I'm like he's very verbal and very social. So
That's so fun.
he
That's
is.
so fun.
He's so great. He really is. So again, but please continue. I love what we were
No, of
saying, what
course.
you were
So
sharing.
anyhow, I just given a talk at a summit event with about 300 people, and a dad came up to me afterwards and he said, "If I can talk to you," he said, "I haven't talked to my son in 3 weeks. I'm so upset. He started some little widget company in his dorm room in college, and he just announced that he's dropping out of college and moving home and working on his little widget company, which I think is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. And it's just such a bad idea, and it's going to fail. And I'm just so upset." And I called over this guy who I knew had made a gazillion dollars and hadn't graduated from college. And I said, "Craig, let me ask you a question. You have a choice of hiring two guys. One of them stayed in college, wasn't motivated by anything or didn't have any passions in college, but somehow graduated with B's, kind of average, B minus, whatever. He graduated. The other one dropped out after 2 years, started a little company, worked on it for a couple years, decided that this company wasn't really the way to work and wanted to work at a more successful company and see how to manage a company better. Who do you want to hire?" And he said, without blinking an eye, "I want to hire the second one. And so does every other one of the 300 entrepreneurs in this room." And the dad was just like, "Wow,
Respect
thank
that.
you."
Yeah.
And he went home and he wrote me like a few weeks later and said, "Thank you, we're friends again." Like, he didn't mean badly. He
Hmm.
just didn't know. He
Yeah.
didn't get it. Parents, it's a different world out there. And I think about it for
Yeah.
myself also. So my son who started Summit, which is has had tens of thousands of people come, incredible speakers. I mean,
Oh my God. Love that.
from Bill Clinton and Mark Cuban and The Roots and John Legend and you name it, like just on and on and on and on. And
Wow.
he dropped out of college. I was horrified. My dad had been a professor. I grew up in university towns. It didn't occur to me this could be an option that I'd have a kid who didn't graduate from college. And he really wanted to be an entrepreneur. He was working for my husband's startup. And a year and a half after he dropped out, a month before he would have graduated, having stayed in class, stayed there for a year and a half, not studying classes he wasn't interested in, but he was required to take to graduate. He invited 18 young entrepreneurs under the age of 30 to come to an all expense paid ski weekend in Utah because he wanted to see how they'd become an entrepreneur. He'd looked on Inked and Wired, and he sort of cold called these guys who were just getting started. And it was people like Blake Mycoskie, who started Tom's Shoes, and Sam
Wow.
Altman, who started Chat GPT.
Wow.
And 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 all of it was going to be a one-off.
Yeah.
He just wanted to meet them for the first time. And they'd never met anybody like themselves before. And they all said, "Oh my God, this is amazing. You have to do this again. And I want to bring 5 friends." And so he organized another one for the end of that year with 60 people. And
Wow.
that started the organization. And if he had stayed in college another year and a half and then worked for my husband for a year and a half, the moment would have passed him by. Someone else would have done it. Summit became a big deal because it was the first.
I love that. Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't think about it at the
Yeah.
time. It's only when I was doing the book and looking back and thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my God, like you have to let these kids go. You have to trust their instincts. You have to let them try, you know?
Yes.
And I'll just tell you one other story that's cool. So Tony Shea, who started Zappos, who was an amazing guy, and he came to the second one. And at that point, Elliot was just inviting people who had like $10 million worth of business or something like that. And, you know, trying to have established entrepreneurs. And Tony said, let me ask you something, Elliot. Are there people here, if they weren't famous, you wouldn't want to hang out with them? And Elliot said, yes. And Tony said, I think you've got a really good thing going, but this is important. You can never invite those people back again because they're going to ruin what you're trying to do. And it was like an epiphany for Elliot. He said, I'm not going to invite those people who are
Mhm.
like obnoxious and self-centered and full of
Yeah.
themselves. I'm going to invite people who have started something who are nice people. And
Yes.
as soon as you change what you're going for, then you get women and minorities and you get people starting nonprofits and you get artists and you get activists and you just get a whole different crew of people who are nice and who want to be helpful. And it completely changed what the organization became.
Wow, that how bold and how courageous to, like you say, take a chance like that and get something started that became, and that's what it's all about. And it's like it is hard. I can understand as a parent. It's like you just want what's best for your kid. So you, like you say, it's not any intention sometimes where we place our fears, but they even talk about this with us as entrepreneurs. Like when you decide to start a business, you're going to have those people even in your family and your friend groups, who are gonna like project their own fears without meaning to. They try to protect you. They're gonna be like, "Oh, the market's saturated. Oh, it's hard to be successful in today's world. Like, oh, that's too expensive. It's too hard. There's so much investing." Like, and they mean well, but that is something we have to be mindful and careful about in who we surround ourselves. Like I knew for me, like I love having moms in my world, but I've also found that having moms who are in business is a whole nother level for me, especially trying to be an entrepreneur. It's like the conversations that we get to have when it's like, well, mom talk and navigating the whole thing, but also really having that business mindset and understanding what it means to wear all the hats within business, because we already wear so many hats as moms. Oh my goodness, we're so many things. We have so many roles already. But when you're in business, like that's a whole nother level of hats that you have to wear, especially when you're just getting started, when you have to be the marketer, when you have to be, the bookkeeper, when you have to be, the employer. Just even that mindset's a big thing when you've been an employee your whole life. So it's magical, the power of a room and the people that you invite into it. So that was great that he did that, because I know the energy is everything. And if you want to surround yourself with people like that, they really would have ruined what he was trying to accomplish. And you mentioned that this was something that he started, but he's no longer doing it anymore.
Right.
What does he do now?
Um, he's actually creating a botanical garden in Miami.
Ooh, I bet that's
And he's going to reinvent how parks are used. And
wow.
he points out that Miami has very little green space. It's got an ocean, but if you're not on the ocean, which most people aren't,
Yeah.
there's very little green space, unlike DC, for example, or Manhattan, for example. And so he had an opportunity to get 3 acres in a transitional neighborhood that nobody had done anything with. And it was just like a big, ugly lawn. And he's gradually turning it into an extraordinary park with all sorts of fun nooks and crannies and places to sit. And it won't be open for a year, but when it's
Mm.
open, it'll be open free to the public during the day. And then he'll have some sort of program or something in the evenings to pay for it.
Yeah, like events and stuff. I mean, people might even want to get married there for all we know, like the way he, depending on how he sets it all up. So, oh my God, that's amazing. Again, such potential. And so that's so cool. Like how, again, too, we can navigate and shift. You do something for so long, it doesn't mean you have to stay with it for the rest of, it had its purpose. And there's nothing wrong with one season just shifting and changing and bringing you something else. Like a lot of people go out with one dream and then they experience all these things and realize either, well, maybe this isn't what I thought it was going to be, or even like, oh my God, I love this, but now I'm just ready to pivot and I want to try something new, something else. And that's beautiful that they dream like that and they're just willing to get out there and do it.
I
I
know
love
it's
it.
super fun.
It is as a parent. And so, like I said, and look at you, Miss, I can't write a book. And now here you are. And you said this is your second edition too, right?
Yeah.
So tell me like more about that journey. You said were sharing a little bit about the interviewing process of what you went through. How did you take that, all these interviews, and actually tie it into a book?
There's so many answers to that, but
I know.
I basically, when I talk to somebody, I would try to type up what the point was that they made.
Yeah.
Everybody had one or two, or maybe at the most three things that they said were important and how they became who they were. And I would just sort of write them up. And then at the end, I would try to put them together and, see, oh, like a lot of them said they had a mentor. Oh, like a lot of them said how they learned to compete. I mean, how, whatever. And
Yeah.
I put them into these different rules. And it's so funny because when my kids wanted me to write the book, I said, look, I'm not going to be one of these people that just writes a book and then it sits in your desk drawer and nothing happens to it. So if I don't have an agent, and a book deal, I'm not writing a book. So of course my son introduced me to an agent, um,
I love that. Look at your kids
who
advocating for you.
who showed me how to write a book proposal, and I wrote a 60-page book proposal, and I got a contract from McGraw-Hill Business, and I started writing, and I was like halfway done, and the woman who'd bought the book moved to a non-publishing startup, and the guy it was sent to, who inherited me, I sent him what I had, and he wrote back and he said, you have a lot of good stuff in here, but if you could move all the stuff about moms to one chapter at the end, or better yet, an appendix. So I said to my agent, I'm actually never speaking to him again because he doesn't want the book I'm writing and I don't want to write the book he wants. So just get me my rights back. It's just not, this does not work. So he got me my rights back. I had to pay him what he would have gotten if the deal had gone through. And then he said, by the way, nobody walks away from a book deal, so we're through. So suddenly I ended
Wow.
up at this point, my book was finished and I had no agent and no publishing contract.
This has got interesting. Oh gosh, keep going.
So anyhow, I was saying this story at a summit event, and someone's like, "Oh, I'll introduce you to my publisher." So they introduced me to their publisher, and they were lovely, and they published the book, and they were very sweet. And but they had somebody read it for an Audible, and the person who read it never contacted me.
What?
Isn't that weird?
That
And
is.
like they wrote me one day and said, "Oh, your book is now on Audible." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's weird." And I had gotten, like I showed you, like photos of everybody when they were young and
Hmm.
today, and gotten their approval, and the publisher decided not to include them because it was too expensive. And anyhow, after a few years, they were lovely people, and I'm enormously grateful that they
Yeah.
published it and gave me the confidence to
Yeah.
keep going. But we sort of ended, uh, the time that I was committed to being with them. And so I just decided to go out on my own and to republish it and to update it and to add the photos and to read my own book. And
Yeah.
and so and by the way, and also like after 5 years, everyone was doing something different anyhow, you
Yeah.
know because these guys don't stay still. I mean, the guy who thought started Method Products, then he started Ollie, and then he started Welly, and this guy, the guy who started Tom, started something else. I mean, everybody was changing, and so I felt I needed to update the book anyhow.
Wow. And that's, I mean, it's like That is like a true entrepreneur too. It's like every so often you reinvent yourself almost, you become a newer version of yourself and you just go with it and be like, this is what feels right for me next. And boom. And you build that confidence and that ability to take risks because now you've done the smaller steps along the way and tested things out, grown and evolved. And now it's like, okay, oh, I got this. I love that. I think that's what so many of us are striving for who are just in the beginning. So from hearing all these stories that you've heard, and let's say a mom right now is listening and is just like, I really have this business idea or I would love to pursue this, but I'm scared. Like I don't know how to get started. I don't know what to do. What would you say to her?
Well, first of all, I always tell moms they have three choices in life. They can work full time and feel guilty. They can not work at all and feel guilty. And they can work part time and feel guilty.
I guess the guilt is just not going away, huh?
So
Oh,
the other thing that I
no.
would say is, and I mean, this is not unique with me, but the best time to have started your idea was yesterday, and the second best time is today. Like,
Mm,
just start.
yeah.
Like, you don't know until you start where it's going to go and how it's going to go. I
Yeah.
guarantee you it's not going to end up how you think it is. I
Hmm.
guarantee you're going to have to pivot and evolve and change, and that's okay, but just
Yeah.
start. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You've learned something and you can use everything you've learned for the
Hmm.
next thing you do.
Yep.
And the important thing is just not to be afraid and just to start
Yeah.
and ask people for help. People love to be asked for help. I think people are afraid to ask for help. It doesn't diminish you to
Mm-mm.
ask for help. It just
Yeah.
deepens friendships and relationships. And I think people basically are honored
Yeah.
if you ask them for help and just start and just, hey, I've got this. And where do you think and by the way, with AI now, it's like so easy. You can just dictate to AI, hey, I have this idea. Can you write me like a business plan? And then you can look at the business plan they've written
Hmm.
and it's obviously don't use it,
Yeah.
but it's a starting point. It'll give
Hmm.
you the idea of what a business plan looks like. And then you can completely rewrite it and adapt it and make it reflect you. And then start sending it to people and say, I could use your advice. Where do you think I should go from here? And just
Hmm.
do it.
Yes. Oh my God. Best advice ever. And you're right. We live in a time right now with AI that it makes so much possible so we don't get stuck. And it's something I teach moms to help them to also save time and their energy because it's like so many people I know struggle with what do I say? What do I post? What do I send in an email? And I'm like, instead of spending hours trying to figure out how to say something, what you say, you have it within you already. All you're doing is using a tool to help kind of organize it for you. That's it. It's still you. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize when using AI, it's not about just telling it what you want it to do. It's about sharing who are you too. Like it's just a machine giving you back the response of what you're giving it. So you got to give it context. You got to give it your personality, share with it who you are, your visions, so that it gets to know you and your voice and your personality, and it reflects that more and more the more you train it. And so I do encourage people, exactly, just get started. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care who you are, nobody just starts and just knows all the answers and has it all together right away. You can look at anyone that you love right now, that you look up to, and just look at their beginning journey. And that will
Right.
show you so much evidence of what they had to also go through to get to where they are today. And that's empowering for me. That inspires me so much because I'm like, okay, I know I have a lot of growth and a lot to learn, and don't even know where my direction is going to go. Heck, I didn't even know that see this podcast coming my way, but it showed up on my journey, and I just said yes to it. It's been my favorite thing that I've said yes to so far, and I love it, and I'm grateful for it because it's like you're right. What we don't realize is how we're modeling for our children too, to show them like, look, mommy's working hard for her dreams. Like she's chasing her dreams. I'm not just getting by anymore. I'm not just surviving. I'm thriving. I'm living my best life. I'm working each and every day to be a better version of myself, to fill my cup up so that I can show it for my family in the best way for them too. And that's what I'm all about. And
Yes.
you like, yeah. And I mean, and also in your experience, everyone you've interviewed, guarantee you they probably hired support, got help, coached, mentored, whatever it was. Would you agree?
Yes, and also so many of them talked about how watching their parents struggle was a huge inspiration for them. I mean, Blake Mycoskie talks from Tom's Shoes talks about this a lot, like watching his mom struggle to write a book and to promote the book, and like
Yeah.
it meant so much, like watching her go through it. And his sister, by the way, is Paige Mycoskie, who's Aviator Nation. So they both saw their mom struggle and realized that they could make their dreams happen also, which is just so cool.
It
But so
is.
many also, like, they talked about the adversity that their family went through and what it meant. It was amazing to me how many of these people went through adversity, like
Yeah.
real adversity, having a parent die, having a parent seriously ill, having
Yeah.
your family, having the breadwinner in the family lose their job, um, having parents who got divorced, having to move because your family suddenly didn't have the money, just
Yeah.
on and on and on and on. And it strengthened them. It
Yeah.
didn't, the parents didn't hide it from them,
Yeah. Yeah. Very, yeah. And it's, well, and I'll tell you that's really hard as someone who, so I grew up with a single mom. And I saw her work her butt off all her life, but very independent. But she also did not truly communicate truthfully, like where things were financially. And so when we got evicted when I was only 15, it was the most horrible experience to just out of nowhere, we're homeless. Well, I mean, they had a place to stay. I kind of went on my own from that point on, from place to place, and just dealing with that. And, it took me a long time to find my home again, but just I think it's very powerful. Like I'm really working to have money conversations with my kids. I talk to my kids about drugs. I talk to my kids about all sorts of things. I was an addict as a teenager, so I know how
Wow.
true and how scary that life can be and how easy it is. You think you're being cool. Oh, oh yeah, sure, I'll try this, whatever, think you're being like, I think I wanted so much of approval like from my sister and just from people that I didn't realize the consequences of actually doing drugs and how addicting they were, and I got into the Oxycontin, especially at a young age. And that's where, yeah, oh girl, I've done a lot of things, but that's the thing. But I'm grateful because, hey, not only did I survive that, but I have thrived because of it. The resilience that's come from that and the drive too of watching my mom struggle like that and being like, I don't want to turn out like that. I don't want my kids to not know what it's like to live in a house. Like I've always wanted to be able to have my own house, to have a fenced in backyard, to sure that my kids grow up having a typical childhood, something I felt like I had somewhat of, but I didn't, and in ways. And so it's beautiful now. Like I've already manifested a lot of that. I already have my house and my fenced in backyard and my kids living, and striving for more. And it's beautiful to even see like my 18-year-old son and how different he is than who I was at, how I was at his age too. This is what I feel like is for me what I'm most proud of is like seeing how well I turned my life around. And I'm evidence that it is possible, no matter how dark or hard your life was or can be even now. Like you can decide that I want to do things differently. I want a different reality. I want a different way. Yes, it takes work, it takes time, but the more you're willing to do the work and like you say, lean on people, ask for the support, get help. Don't do it on your own. You're going to talk yourself out of it. You're going to fall right back into those old patterns, I promise. So
Uh,
I'm very passionate about that.
yeah, so even that's so interesting that you brought up that story about yourself, because even the entrepreneurs who grew up without adversity, like your kids are,
Yeah.
their parents talked to them about the adversity that they had had or the adversity that their
Yep.
grandparents had had. So
Yeah.
I remember Adam Braun saying, like, I mean, he grew up in an idyllic situation, but his parents kept saying, like, their grandparents were Holocaust survivors
Oh,
and would
yes.
talk to them about this. And so, I mean, the ones who didn't grow up with adversity, there was adversity in the background that they talked to their kids about, just like you are. And then so many of the others talked to me about the adversity and what it meant to them. Brian Meehan, who started Blue Bottle Coffee, he
Mm.
told me that he's Irish and his dad was an entrepreneur, and then Ireland went through this big famine recession thing, and he said that he didn't know that his family was struggling. And then he saw a letter one day that said, your family's in arrears on the school tuition. and he didn't know what arrears meant, and he asked his dad, and his dad told him, and that's when he found out. And his dad went to the school and said, "We're going to have to take our kids out of the school. We can't afford it anymore." And the headmaster said, "You're not taking these kids out of the school. We'll cover the fees." And he said the first thing he did when he sold his first company was set up scholarships in that headmaster's name.
Ah, that's beautiful. Oh my God, that makes me like teary-eyed. I love stories like that because that's beautiful. I mean, so I love people like that. People who are just willing to do whatever they can to help others. Like that is what it's all about. And and good for him. And it's so amazing that he could return the favor. Giving is such a beautiful way to receive. And I know that a lot of us wish we could do more. I know there were so many times growing up, even with JJ, that I wish I could have shown up more and done things. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to live in regrets. It is what it is. I was at a different place. I was a different version of myself back then. I did the best that I could with what I had. But it's something that I strive for now with my other young ones. Like now, it's like I feel like I'm getting a second chance. And as I work and grow in my business, like I want to give back. I want to do more for the schools that I didn't get to volunteer or to show up for because I had my 9 to 5 job. And now I work from home. I have more flexibility. I want to do more. As I grow financially, I want to give more. Like that's my dream, especially helping those like veterans and people who just could use just a little break. Even middle class people. I feel like we get screwed on so much because it's like you make too much to get help, but you don't make enough to really live in inflation and things like that. And sometimes I just feel for people who are really working hard and just trying to get ahead. And they just sometimes, I just feel like I have my heart just goes out to those people. So, anyways, Margot, I know we can talk about so many things, and I just want to thank you for everything that you've shared and for all that you've done. Like this book, it sounds amazing, and I'm guessing it's available anywhere on like Amazon for people to go grab.
Amazon,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yes. For you mamas, this is a great thing to learn about raising our kids to be creative, to learn resilience, confidence, to just help them to find their way for themselves. And I think a part of this is also learning to trust ourselves so that we can learn to trust our kids to make even the mistakes. I mean, that's part of it, right? The failing, the mistakes we make, it's all part of preparing us for what's meant for us. And so we have to see it differently if we really want to have a different outcome. So yeah, I think it's incredible everything you're sharing, what you're doing. Go grab a copy of that book today. Show your support and get some amazing information. I can't wait to read these stories. It sounds amazing, amazing, amazing. So, Margot, I always open the floor too. Is there any final piece of advice that you would like to leave with the audience today?
Yeah, I just want to say you can't make your kid an entrepreneur. And that shouldn't be your goal any more than you can make them an orchestra conductor or a doctor. You have to, what our job as a parent is to see what gives them joy and then support it and tell them how proud we are of them for how hard they're working in that, and that we know there's failures, and that's fine. It's how they'll learn and grow. And I also want to say the goal is not to become an entrepreneur. The goal is to become entrepreneurial. And it's a way of thinking so that whatever you do, not everyone wants to work that hard. Not
Yeah.
everyone wants to take on that much risk. But whatever you do, it's my favorite little thing in the book, if I can just read it,
Yes.
that even if your child doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, encouraging them to become more entrepreneurial by promoting certain attitudes can only be a good thing. All children thrive if they learn to believe in themselves, to pursue their true passions, to find new ways to solve old problems, to see opportunity where others see the status quo, to be willing to take on a challenge without proper credentials, to work with single-minded determination to achieve a goal, to take on risk if the project is worth trying, to learn that building something wonderful is its own reward, regardless of how much money you make, to view failure as feedback and setbacks as learning experiences, and to dream big dreams.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, it's so incredible. Thank you again for everything. This has been such a beautiful talk, and I just hope that this has really hit and landed for so many moms out there listening when it comes to your children, when it comes to yourself, and just really going after everything that you desire, as well as watching your kids go after it for themselves. That's such an honor, such an honor.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mary. It was really great.
Oh, so wonderful having you too. Thank you. What a powerful conversation. If there was one message that kept showing up for me throughout this episode, it's this: confidence grows through experience, not perfection. Belief changes lives. The way we lead ourselves becomes the example our children learn from. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give our kids isn't protecting them from failure, it's showing them how to keep going when life doesn't go according to plan. I also loved Margot's reminder that our job isn't to decide who our children should become. It's to help them discover who they already are and support them as they grow into it. Margot, thank you so much for sharing your heart, your wisdom, and the incredible work you've done through your book. It was such a joy having you here, and I know you've encouraged so many moms listening today. And Mama, if this conversation stirred something in you, if you realize that maybe it's time to stop waiting, stop second guessing yourself, and start becoming the woman you know you're meant to be, I want to personally invite you to take your next step. Enrollment for Identity Reset is officially open. And for those of you who want to experience my coaching before joining, I'm also hosting a free live coaching workshop called Become the Woman You Can Trust. It's an opportunity to experience this work firsthand, understand why lasting transformation is about so much more than motivation, and learn how to bridge the gap between knowing what to do and consistently becoming the woman you want to be. You'll find all the details linked below. And if today's episode encouraged you, would you do me a quick favor? Share it with another mom who needs this message. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you've been enjoying the show, leaving a review is one of the greatest ways you can help more moms discover these conversations. Until next time, Mama, keep trusting yourself, keep leading yourself, keep believing in what's possible, and never underestimate the impact of the example you're setting, not only for your children, but for the woman you're becoming. I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.